Hello and welcome to another interesting episode of the Reflection series where we listen to stories that recharge and rejuvenate us. And like always, we have a very wonderful speaker with us today, BK Nanda. BK Nanda is a meditation practitioner of the Brahma Kumaris for the past 35 years. He is a professional corporate trainer specializing in thinking skills and holds world-class licenses for strategic thinking and inventive problem solving. He is also a psychotherapist and actively does counseling for people of all walks of life. That's a lot of hats to wear. And the title of the story he is going to share with us today is Identity of the Self, Insecurities, and Inner Strength. And as he says, in this session, we will explore how he reformed and rebuilt new identities and how that helped him remove deep-rooted insecurities and build inner strength within himself. So very interesting topic, and we're looking forward to hear how this journey has been. So without any further ado, a very hearty welcome to the program, Brother Nanda, and it's over to you to share your story with us. Welcome once again.
Hi everyone. I have been a meditation practitioner for the last 35 years. And at the age of 19, I started learning meditation. And at that point of time, I was also trying to define myself. I was trying to find why certain behaviors of mine were driving me in certain directions. Sometimes I found that my negative tendencies inside me or the negative qualities inside me tends to dominate, and sometimes the positive qualities inside me tends to dominate. At the age of 19, I was a very spiritual person, and I used to really explore the human side, the human psychology very deeply. I used to think about things very deeply. I even used to observe why my mother, my father, siblings, and people around me behaved in different ways. And I actually understood that certain identities or certain programming, certain mind programming behaviors is actually driving them. Now, I'd like to relate to you a story which I actually read when I was in my teenage days. A very short one, you might have heard about it. It's the story of the scorpion and the frog. Now, why am I telling you this? Because it's deeply related to identities. Now, one day the scorpion came to the river bank and saw the frog. This is the story. And the scorpion told the frog, "Hey, frog, hey, Mr. Frog, could you please help me to bring me across the river? My family is on the other side of the bank, of the river bank." The frog got a shock and said, "No, I can't do that. You're a scorpion because you will sting me and I'll die." And then the scorpion said, "No, no, no, I will not do that. I will hop on your back, and as you're swimming, if I were to sting you, both of us will die. We will drown and die. So it is not likely that I will sting you." After some time, the frog decided to help the scorpion. And the frog said, "Okay, it looks logical. I think you will not sting me because you need my help." So the scorpion actually hopped on the frog's back and the frog started swimming. Now, this story, I heard it when I was a teenage, in my teenage days. As the frog was swimming, the scorpion suddenly stung the frog. And the frog screamed and said, why did you sting me? Now I'm now paralyzed and I'm not able to swim anymore, and both of us are going to die. And the scorpion said, I'm sorry, but I am a scorpion. That's what I do. That is me. I sting everyone. Now, this story actually, for some reason, was stuck in my mind for a very long time. The scorpion had an identity that I am a scorpion, and so I will sting. That's my job. Now, this is how powerful identities can be in people. So, when we have a particular identity or a particular program in the mind about who I am, that identity will drive you towards a particular behavior. I give you an example, another example. Now, let's say I am a smoker. So I will tell you that I am a smoker. So I have actually, over a period of time, identified myself as a smoker, and I believe I need to smoke. That's an identity in myself. Now, let's take a look at another perspective. Supposing now I tell you I smoke a few cigarettes a day. Now, what is the difference between saying I am a smoker, and what's the difference here between I am a smoker and I smoke a few cigarettes a day? Now, one is actually describing something I've accepted I am a smoker. The other is actually describing the actions that I do, that is, I smoke a few cigarettes a day. Can you see there's a difference between these two? So now, if I were to renounce or quit smoking, if I keep thinking I'm a smoker, it's going to be almost impossible or very difficult to smoke, very difficult to quit. But if I always thought I'm just smoking a few cigarettes a day, that's different. That's not an identity, but that's more of an action. Similarly, if a mother feels I'm a mother of children, and I'm going to do the best for my children, that mother's adopted a particular identity to actually nurture her children. But let's change a perspective. Let this mother adopt a new identity and say, I am one who provides for my children and I provide for everybody. I'm a mother who provides. Just by changing the way we think. See, one is a mother and this is my children. The other is I'm a mother and I'm going to provide for everybody around me. So there are two ways of actually thinking. But what drives this thinking is that identity that we have adopted for ourselves. So at the age of 19, as I start to meditate and I start to understand some very deep spiritual truths about the self, I started to really go deeper into this and thought I need to recreate or reprogram certain identities. And I started doing exactly that. I start to think differently. I used to think I am a person who can see opportunities where others see problems. It became so deep in me that I used to think during my meditation process. And I used to make it such a strong impression in me that this identity became so strong. I later went on to form 5 different companies and I became very successful by the age of 36. And each of these companies, people would think, wow, where do you get the time? I actually trained very good people to run the company. And I just supervised and managed just by adopting I could see opportunities where others see problems. The other identities which I've understood is if I were to become very successful, then I need to learn from everyone, everything that happens around me, and I need to do it all the time. I proactively actually made this kind of mindset, so identity so strong in me. And it made me really quit or remove my arrogance to some extent because I knew if I'm arrogant, I can't learn from everyone. So, as these identities that I adopt proactively after thinking about it deeply, I started to think different, act different, my behavior was different. A lot of things change. Now, however, as we start changing these identities, now we need to understand that these identities that are formed inside us, there's a particular reason for it. Many of us have got many different kind of identities adopted and become part of ourselves because it is also a method to hide the deep-rooted insecurity within us. So the identity that we have adopted in our life is actually also hiding some of or protecting some of the insecurities inside us. Now, as I start to develop new identities and remove the old identities, insecurities, deep rooted insecurities within me were starting to emerge. I give you an example. Another identity which I adopted was I need to share the knowledge which I have from multiple fields in whatever business I'm in, and also in the spiritual field to everybody, whoever wants it. And as I start doing this, there was this deep voice coming inside from within me and saying, hey, if you start doing this, you're going to lose. People are going to win. They are going to compete with you and you're going to lose. They're going to become better than you. These are called insecurities. So all this while, my old identities were hiding such deep-rooted insecurity. But the moment I start saying, I need to give, I need to learn how to share and make people better. I firmly believe that giving is receiving because as a meditation practitioner, I understood the laws, the spiritual laws of the universe, which is, you might call it the law of karma. I understood them very, very deeply. And I knew that if I could give to people, it will surely come back to me in a positive way. So now, just by having this thought, I need to give, and it will come back to me. This complete insecure feeling that somebody is going to become better than me was just removed. And in fact, when I started to give, I actually became better and better than people. So this was so rewarding that I felt I need to do more and more for people around me. So there are many other insecurities which might come, but I always understood that whenever we try to change something within us, we're actually trying to modify the identities that we have created since small. And such change, whenever we are about to bring a change, that deep rooted fear or insecurity is bound to come out. And so we have to be, and I had to be clever enough to understand this, how to manage this insecurity. So I have actually pointed out to you the identity and the insecurity. Now, the third thing which I would like to highlight is as I started meditating more and more, as I started exploring deeper into the art of meditation and understanding the mind deeply, I learned how to build inner strength inside. Now, as a psychologist and an NLP trainer and NLP practitioner, I understand or I know that the subconscious has a weakness. Yeah, that's right. Our subconscious actually has got a weakness. And we can actually use this weakness to reprogram our subconscious, because the subconscious mind is actually holding all our identities and that insecure feeling. So I understood that if I could reprogram and remove those insecure feeling inside me, I could actually develop very strong identities or tendencies or habits. And what is the weakness I'm talking about in the subconscious mind? Let me explain to you this way. Assuming you had a trauma in life, some bad experiences, you had faced some bad situation. And so those experience or trauma is deeply embedded in the subconscious. Like it or not, it's going to form some kind of impression and it's going to be there. And those kind of programs or those kind of impressions definitely is going to create some form of insecure feeling. Supposing you had some very positive, empowering situations happened in your life, or some empowering moments happened in your life. Similarly, some very strong, positive things are going to be embedded in the subconscious. So those are real experience. However, the weakness of the subconscious is it cannot differentiate between a real experience and a clearly visualized experience. Now, what am I saying here? What I'm saying is, if I can visualize a very powerful picture in front of me, a very powerful situation in my mind, and repeatedly visualize those experiences, it will become a real experience for the subconscious mind. The point here is the subconscious mind cannot differentiate between a real experience that you had actually gone through and a highly clearly visualized experience in the mind. Subconscious takes it as they are both the same. This is a key element in actually building inner strength and actually removing insecurities. In other words, during my meditation practices, I actually I use my mind to visualize very powerful images, very powerful experiences at the mind level. And these experiences repeatedly done over a long period of time, say a month, it is going to become real for the subconscious. And so finally, we can actually have something powerful inside us. So if, let's say, I want to create a very strong feeling, a strong habit to overcome a fear, I just need to work on that positive aspect, visualize it very powerful, very clearly, vividly, repeatedly, and that is going to become part of me. So the three things I've just mentioned, number one, identities drive your behaviors. And when you're about to bring some changes, deep-rooted insecurity will actually emerge. And the third, we can actually build inner strength just by having highly visualized experiences in the mind where the subconscious is going to think Those are actually real experiences. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother Nanda. Wonderful. I was just, while you were sharing the story of the scorpion and the frog, I was just reflecting, how whatever we read or see when we are young really stays in our memory track.
Yeah.
And so deeply, it has an impact for the rest of our lives. It could be a short story, as you said, a simple story, but yeah, it gives you so many lessons. And it was really interesting to know that you had read it such a long time ago, and you kind of carried that lesson through for such a long time. If I could ask a question, you mentioned that strong visualization of something positive uh, creates that or makes that a reality for the subconscious in a way, and then you perceive that as truth. Uh, in your experience, would you like to share any quick experience of something that you strongly visualized that way, and then it changed your perspective towards something you were thinking differently about previously? Anything in your experience that you would like to share?
Sure. Yeah. In my um, daily life, I used to counsel lots of people and also meet lots of people. There are all kinds of people coming into my life, from suicide cases to traumatic events and so on. So, one of my very outstanding cases was a 16-year-old girl who had repeatedly wanted to commit suicide and had this tendency to cut her arms and leg and so on. And I actually taught her how to visualize. That means every time the thought of suicide comes, I will tell her how to postpone it, how to visualize postponing it, how to visualize why that suicide attempt needs to be postponed. I never tell her don't do it because she's going to resist me. I will tell her learn to postpone it. Now, during that time of postponement, what do you do? I will tell her, now take 30 minutes of postponing your suicide mission and deeply go into a state where you want to be relaxed. And I will teach her how to do it. I will actually give her images for us to think very clearly, vividly, and also go back into a life, a past, which was very traumatic, and recreate another image of herself in those scenes. One will talk positively and the other will be negatively. And I will tell her, you are now from the future gone to your back, your past, and you're the positive one. You need to convince that. So that is your activity. And she will start doing this. Very soon, she became so relaxed, and she started saying, I'm slowly losing this um, habit that I want to suicide. It took us 6 years to become completely out of those thoughts and to become a very successful business person. The other thing which I've used in my own life is I I have studied many things, and I have, as I told you, I have opened up many companies doing many business, and people used to wonder, how is that possible? We don't think you are telling the truth. The thing is, I'm a biochemist. I'm also a automotive engineer, also psychologist. I'm also a programmer, and I'm also running a construction. I'm also a contractor. I've actually learned all this just by positively visualizing things and positively visualizing that my workers will behave like this when I react like this. And this is what the outcome should be. Everything becomes so vivid that when I go into a particular situation, it's like almost like I'm in an autopilot mode because everything is like a preset, a fixed event for me. So those kind of experiences are very powerful, and it made me work very easily and enjoy life. Yeah, so those are the two experiences.
Wonderful. You make it look so easy. But I'm sure if we all practice, we will also be able to do that because someone has done it. So definitely it's proof that it's possible. So thank you for sharing that with us, Vadananda. And if I could lastly request you, as you are a meditation practitioner as well, if you could lead our viewers into a meditation experience through your commentary, if that's okay, maybe for a few minutes, 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let us have a short meditation practice. Now, before I actually get you through this, I'm going to divide this into two parts. Firstly, I'm going to guide you to relax your mind and body just through a very powerful breathing technique. And then after that, I'm going to take you into exploring within the mind, and I'm going to guide you through a commentary. Right? Okay. Now you can close your eyes if you want to. You can keep your eyes open. Now take a deep breath in and breathe out. Again, one more time. Take a deep breath in and breathe out very naturally. Now, one more time, breathe in, but this time let your breathe you breathe out slowly. Again, take a deep breath, and as you let out, make it even slower. Breathe out slow, very slow. Now again, take a deep breath and breathe out very, very slow. Now breathe in again, and each time you breathe out, make the time longer, longer. One more time, breathe in, and even slower, breathe out in a very constant, slow manner. Very slow. Let's do one more time. Breathe in deeply and very, very slowly breathe out. Now keep doing this, but now let's start exploring our identity. Now ask yourself, what is your most powerful identity? What makes you, what behavior makes you very successful? What behavior or action makes you very happy? When do you feel very relaxed? When do you feel very happy? Now, those could be your very strong identities. Is there something which makes you weak? Now, that could be a very limited negative identity which you might have adopted accidentally. Now, as you self reflect in this way, the first thing to do is to clearly know which kind of identity is helping you and what is not helping you. There are certain identities inside you which needs to be strengthened. And there are certain identities inside me which needs to be removed. Now, this is something we do when we go into a silent reflection. Now, whichever identity or thought or action that you feel is making you stronger, we need to now visualize it very vividly, clearly, and sometimes expand that identity to make it even more positive. Now, the insecurities within us will always come. Insecurities such as jealousy, a feeling that others might overtake, a feeling that I may not be able to do that, or others are better than me. These are all limited negative identities which can be replaced. So, what I need to do now is to spend time for myself on a daily basis, reprogramming my subconscious mind by visualizing what I want, how I want it, and rationalize why you want it by explaining to yourself why I need to do this. As we begin to rationalize very deeply why I need to become positively empowered, as this why becomes clear, that's when the subconscious mind accepts new identities and it's reprogrammed. In this way, as we make the new identities, the positive identities, stronger, the weak identities that we have adopted becomes submerged or just goes beneath. So by adopting positive, empowering, helpful, successful identities for yourself, by understanding the insecurities hidden deep within ourselves, and removing this insecurity by reprogramming our strengths in the subconscious mind, we can actually change the way we think. We can actually do many things with the mind. Our vibrations through the mind will change things around, and you will find more positive things are attracted to the self. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nanda. It was wonderful. And also, thank you for helping our viewers to get a glimpse of that experience, how it feels when you really go into that relaxation and change the way you think and identify yourself. So, thank you very much for sharing your wisdom and insights with us today. And I would also like to thank our viewers for joining in. And if you would like to know more, please do visit our website, www.brahmakumaris.org.au. All the centers and the program information is all put up on the website. So thank you once again for joining in, and we will be back with another interesting episode and another interesting story. Till then, take care. Thank you. Om Shanti.